Okay, I want to share this with you guys. This is not easy to talk about. Yesterday was, it's been very emotional. Scorpio season, deep emotions, right? Deep wounding, that's sacral. So that has to be cleared out for the deity part of it, the deity chakra, the sacral, to be in full bloom, right? So, and I might cry while I talk about this because it's very traumatic. Um, okay, just I wrote some down to make sure I don't forget, but all these dreams now are making sense. Coming all the way back to the beginning when the very vivid dreams started coming in. All these cats I remember at this place that seemed like, and I shared it in a video, seemed like an abandoned, I remember it felt abandoned. It felt like like a facility type place, like an industrial kitchen. And also on my spirit was put elderly, like caring for the elderly, okay? And there were, so that dream, and then another dream in the same place, I'm assuming, where I'm down in the kitchen and I look over and I'm at the sink with the rag and I just got done doing dishes and it seems like a big industrial type kitchen, okay? I mean, like, sink area. It was like a room where just dishes and stuff, big giant sink. And he was like in the elevator, in the doorway, it would seem like an elevator. And other scenes where I'm seeing him like just in his doorway, like on the third floor, or okay, like, and then just recently seeing him like in this hospital setting in dreams and stuff. Okay, the 0 point. Many times when we're sitting at tables or different tables from each other, or just like a cafeteria type setting, and the most recent one where I'm doing like needle point sitting at a table and I felt like 0 point. Okay, and he was like in 0 point. But now come to find out, thinking now that I'm putting this all together, it's like, it might have been heavily medicated. Oh, and Tora. Yeah. So once Thorazine came out, all these asylums, okay, where they were doing 3 very heinous things: the electric shock therapy, frontal lobotomies, and insulin-induced comas. They would inject you with insulin to eat up all the sugar in your blood, and that was currently in your blood, so that you'd go into shock, like basically like pass out. So I was like, oh my god. That's what was happening to me in Grass Valley. I thought I was being zapped with directed energy weapons, and come to find out it was past life trauma. I'd just be sitting at the table. I remember specifically one time I'm just sitting there eating. I made some fried rice, made a brown rice. I had peas in it. Okay, I'm just sitting, and like after a couple minutes, and I'm just sitting down at the table and eating a bowl of food. Okay. And this happened more than once, so it wasn't because of food, or it was just, I'd wake up out of a dead sleep, and this would happen sometimes, okay? I'd feel like I'd have to go lay down, like I was getting blurred, like dizzy, like I'd have to go lay down. I'd be covered in sweat, even the back of my hands, like everything, just a blanket of sweat, just instantly. Even the back of my hands covered with, okay, drenched instantly. Feeling like I have to pass out, instantly just, okay. So out of the blue, all the dreams about my son drowning, the one in particular, the bathroom scene where there was a bunch of tubs, so I knew it was like an asylum, and there was a little bit of like poop in the bathtub, and he was in there, and he was stiff, and his eyes were bloodshot. I pulled him out of there. You know, because like when you die, you relieve your sphincter if there's any urine or fecal matter. Okay, and I shared that in a video. That was very traumatic, that dream. Okay, these are past life recall, okay? And it is very traumatic, so God gives you a little bit of, okay. And I had this another dream when I was very little. Like 7, so real little, okay, before I even went into foster home, which I was 9 when that happened, so. And I remember my uncle saying something about seeing a graveyard. It was really foggy and stuff, so I thought, oh, maybe I got that idea from him. But it didn't look like that in my dream. It looked like a big clock tower, and you can only see the top of it because it was so foggy, the rest of it. And, oh God, see, because it's so traumatic, that's why it's just little increments. Okay, my son he does not like any water in his face or on his head when he's taking it back. I mean, when he was a baby, I couldn't even lay him on his back in the sink in this little bath carrier thing. He would totally freak out. He hated it. Okay, so yesterday, something called to me. And it was because it said, I found a diary at an abandoned psych hospital. This one right here. It says, Dear BHLA Clue KLU. Okay, so Evil Idol 2019 round 1. So these are chilling tale. Okay, so I think it's the first one. And journal was coming in, and specifically a paper journal, because I was watching werewolf movies. Okay, so I find this one is from the 30s and 40s. I've been watching old 30s and 40s movies last couple days, and it was about this woman who was from the Traiga tribe, daughter of a werewolf. Okay, so just this little blip though when they're walking down, and it's 30s and 40s, so they have a different style of clothing, and the men's suit jackets had a really big, wide pocket, and I noticed because he put like a whole piece of paper in there and only had to like fold it in half. It was so big, the pocket, so I was like, interesting. So it was kind of like a paper journal, and journal was coming in for the masculine. So I'm watching, I'll put the link to this specific video and let you know. I'll timestamp it. I think it's the very first story. Okay. So the dream I most recently had, where I'm in this big giant abandoned building, seemed like it was out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. The woman that I was with, Mary, was put on my spirit. I'm thinking Mother Mary. The woman's name was actually Mary. She had a child in her hands. Okay, so this story, okay, I might get a little emotional because this hit me hard. And I was getting 43 written on the leather, okay, with the death card, okay. Because this King's Park, the quads, okay, and it makes an X in the center, 4x4, and there's that center middle one. I was getting the spidey sense of the 4x4, the 43, and building 43 was for, it's the female patients, I believe. And there's 41, 42, 43. 42 was the center of the kitchen. Okay, and 43. So that must have been where I lived, in building 43. Okay, I'm getting emotional because of what I have to share. So, sorry. So this story. So this person, this woman, just was like on a mission to go to King's. Okay, so this is a modern. I don't know how long ago it was once it was abandoned. Okay, so it was abandoned in '94. I think 1994, the year I graduated. So 1919 she's talking about 1919, and I go, oh fuck, here we go. And it was in operation for 111 years. I just got something in the mail the other day, right before I watched this, okay? Overpaid $111 in food stamps. Okay, 111. So 1919, the year my grandfather was born. Okay, so this is where I was. So this little girl was put there. So she's telling the story, or okay, her mom says, write every day so you don't forget who you are. So her mom's being abused by her father. They had another, come to find out later in life, okay, because this woman who goes to the abandoned place, she finds this journal, and she finds these other people, come to find out, because she's like, man, they really seemed like he really wanted to get that off their chest, that secret, okay, because they already had like a deformed, physically deformed child, and she wet the bed, and he used to beat her, and they sent her away. He beat the mother, so they had another daughter, and she was 13, and she was still wetting the bed. The mother would like take the brunt of it, so the father wouldn't beat the girls, okay? So she was sent to this asylum, and I think at 12, okay, she was going to have her 13th birthday, or whatever she wanted her. Anyway, she ended up forgetting her name, one of the last journal entries, okay? That hit me hard too, because when she read that, she's like, I forgot my name. Because the person who found the journal, she was reading it, okay. Well, maybe not the actual person telling the story, but, okay, this is a modern day woman, and she must have been a star seed, or had a past life there or something, and she said, in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have went there by myself. But that's in hindsight, because you're protected by spirit, and she just knew on a subconscious level. Okay, she was just on a mission. She just didn't even know. She was drawn to the 3rd floor. She went to the thing, reached her hand wet. It was like she was robotically. Yeah, I know. Because when you're a shaman and a starseed, it's like your body's just. That's like when I found my shaman stone. When I was pregnant, that piece of obsidian. It's like I stopped dead in my track. Baby daddy's watching me too. Like just inside, and I just stopped dead in my track. My eyes must have been different and everything. I turned 90-degree angle, my hand's just going straight into the mountain, pulling me and it's like sucked right into my hand. Huge piece of obsidian. It was like you couldn't even see it, but it's like it just barely went to touch it, and it pulled right in my hand. Because it was like they carved out the mountain there where they could, so they could build the road and everything. So it was like kind of scraped and exposed, but yeah. So anyway, this is what was happening to her. I'm getting a little sidetracked there, but now I went there in my mind. I'm like, oh, yeah. So, okay, another thing about, right, the loud, always, like, trying to keep my son quiet, and this, okay, because now this woman gets this journal, right, and she's reading the story of this little girl that went there. Was being abused, right? It was just asylum. Like, if you had any little problem with your kid, I mean, nowadays you wouldn't even do it. They have a pens for children and stuff, right? But look, it was just and that was kind of the time. Like, if you had anything that wasn't the 30s and 40s, very showy, very like, and it's still, right? But it was kind of like this. Have to have this front. If there was anything that didn't go with like this perfect lifestyle, go put them away somewhere. But we still have that attitude. Go put the old people away. Go put the sick people away. Go get a right, because we don't want to. But it does start affecting you mentally. The noise, okay. So I don't know why I was there. Maybe because my son. Okay, so I just needed some help, some respite. I didn't have a husband, maybe, so I was dealing with I just wanted help. Okay, but this was when they were still doing the lobotomy shit. So this journal is from this little girl when she was there. And there was another little girl that she just referred to by her number. And she told her about how, or it might have been Mary. No, I think it was a little girl who told her. Okay, because Mary was the nurse there. And she knew the schedule of people were going to be lobotomized and stuff. Okay, so someone was on the schedule to be lobotomized. I think that little girl or something. Okay, and I don't even blame the doctors and stuff. They were undermined, and they didn't even know what they were doing because they're so consumed with ego that they couldn't possibly have known. So electric shock therapy, insulin-induced comas, and frontal lobotomies. Okay, they would do it without any anesthesia on the stage. So it's written in this little girl's journal how they did this to this other little girl on the stage in front of people. They would shriek and they would start then clapping, and then she's screaming in pain because she said took an ice pick and shoved it into her eye, wiggled it around a little bit. Okay, so like this dream that I had where they drove a spike into the top of my head and the lady was like, oh, that's a lot of blood. Jeez. Right? And then I just felt like a zombie right after. So I don't know if I was actually given. Okay, so I'm thinking I got my starseed DNA activation. That's what that, and it is too. But it's also because he was a doctor in a white coat and he just came and just drilled, bam, like a stake right into the top of my head, and then I felt like a zombie after. So this nurse's name is Mary. And she knows the lobotomy schedule, and she got so sick of, she couldn't stand to see these children anymore. They were doing this to children. Return to Oz? Yeah, no wonder that movie struck such a chord with me, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I donated all of them. There was one other reader out here, she's like, oh, no, you should keep that one out of all of them. That's a classic. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just going to get rid of them all. And that out of all of them, I'm like, you know what? That was the one I thought out of all of them, I was going to keep that one. Classic, right? And the one with Angelina Jolie and Winona Ryder, that one's something about, I was always something about the mental hospital, these movies, the electric shock therapy, Juan Corona when I moved here. It's just like. So Mary the nurse knew that this girl, okay, that was telling the other girl who was writing the journal, she knew that she was going to have a lobotomy, so she was going to escape and take her with her, and what she was doing was killing the children to make it look like an accident because she couldn't stand to see the children lobotomized and they would be slumped over in a wheelchair drooling on themselves. Walking around like zombies. She couldn't take it anymore. So when she would know the schedule when someone was going to be lobotomized, and she would go and make it look like an accident. So like my child being drowned, make it look like an accident. So I don't know if I knew that, and I was just like, oh God, just because I wouldn't be able to stand seeing my son like that either. So maybe I knew, maybe I didn't know. But God also kept saying, mercy kill, the lesser of two evils. I woke up this morning and he said, Vulgate. I'm like, oh, the Vulgate? Or what? St. Jerome, he showed me St. Jerome on, so St. Jerome, the feast day for St. Jerome's coming up. Who's St. Jerome? Doctor of the church. And like maybe last week, God said Thaddeus. Then he reminded me again, Thaddeus, before I went to the store. And when I went to the store, and that guy wore the same shirt before, I saw him in there before with that same shirt. Because I'm like, oh, St. Jude. It was a blue shirt. Sent St. Jude. And that's Judas Thaddeus, not Judas Iscariot. Judas Thaddeus. Jesus' brother, one of the disciples. I was shown Route 66. That's the Mother Road. Established November 11th, 1926. Like 1962, somebody's birthday, November 11th. But so, all these things coming together. With the drowning, with the severe depression, and this homesick feeling, this lonely feeling. So I believe my twin and I were in this asylum together. Because as I was watching videos, there was this one guy who, I think was an actor, and his last name was Crosby, I think. And he finished out his life there. But I'm not saying that was my twin. There was a thing that he said when his mother died, he attempted suicide. And I remember having the dream, seeing my twin. It looked like he was in the hospital. He said something about pizza, my mom, his stomach. So perhaps in my twin's past life, his mom passed away, and it was so traumatic for him that, because maybe that was the only, this actor, Crosby, maybe that was the only unconditional love, pure love he had a really good mom, okay, and that was like his tether to God, that unconditional love, because he never got it from a woman, or because he was an actor and an alcoholic and, okay, depressed, couldn't find love. So when the one person that loved him perfectly died, he wanted to die too. So, I don't know what kind of relationship my twin has with his mom. I know that they talk. I know they're divorced, his mother and father. So I feel like, he tried to commit suicide, and I know we've kind of danced around that issue, like, talked about, like, because starseeds, right? We're so lonely, we're so, God. It's like not a wanting to kill yourself, but a wished I was never born. He said that. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I call it too. Wishing I was never born. So the 1919, the 111. This was so hard, you guys, because this was my most recent incarnation before this lifetime, so it's like raw, and I just put it all together yesterday, but I gotta get this out because I know my twin is feeling this too, and he has to understand why. Oh God, the 4x4. Oh, and then I'm going into the bathroom and I'm looking out the window. I'm just like thinking of and the Evans furniture truck goes by in the distance, though, like a couple streets away, but I saw it go, and I'm just like, oh man, this is hard stuff. Yeah, like all these dreams where I was cleaning all these big houses, and it was like men outside on these picnic tables talking, and it was just like this big open outdoor like space. Okay, I'm just putting these all together now of all these. Yeah, I mentioned that. Oh, I dreamt I was inside the circular round part. Okay, that must have been the part of the, and that was during that Revelation 12 sign thing, so I was thinking it was inside the the round. It could have been that too, but then it's just like, this makes too much sense, all these little bits and pieces. So yeah, now I see that I've been going through dreams of like being on a gurney and going through the double doors and looking up, seeing the exit sign, right, the green exit sign above you. Yeah, the 4x4, there's 4 wings, there's that circular center one that makes a cross, okay, there's 4, then there's 4 towers, so it's the 4x4. Oh, and there was a woman who was talking about, she was a patient, and she had anxiety, and she lived with a foster, but this is in England, a different asylum, but a one in England, and her foster mother, because she had anxiety, okay, it wasn't like you could go get a prescription or you had in-home support services. It was before all that stuff. So you had to go put him in the hospital to get treated. Okay, because it was after the time of house visits with doctors. Now it went back to that. See, it's just like ping pong back and forth. And it's not, they're all trying to figure it out too and help everybody, right? We got to remember, and even the ones that they're being influenced by their ego. Their ego tripping. Okay, and their ego is saying, yeah, this is helping people. I know it looks crazy. Oh, right, they're flipping, flopping around, fucking going, having seizures. No wonder in my head with the and my around my wrists and stuff, right, my knees holding me down, just the inflammation, all that, right, electric shock therapy. So the woman had a yeah, they did electric shock therapy, and they also they didn't give her a lobotomy, right, because she wasn't violent or whatever, but they did do the insulin-induced coma, and the electric shock therapy. Okay, just because she had anxiety, because she was in a foster home. Yeah, because she was probably being molested, abused, or whatever. That's why she had anxiety, right? She needed love and understanding, compassion. You need God. See, all this, if you just had God, all this, if you just knew you were already free and God's got you, you don't need to seek asylum. God is your asylum. That's the mistake that I made. Feeling desperate and running to man instead of God and crying out to God. And that is why it ended up like that. I should have went to God. I should have known that I was free and strong and connected to God and went straight to God. I didn't need a middleman. And white oleander kept coming in, and I saw it on something. I'm like, oh, there's that white oleander. My left ear just went... And very interesting, because the woman who plays the foster mother, and Aster is okay, so they're in a group home, they meet up, they're in love, her and the boy in the movie, okay. The woman who plays her foster mother in the movie, Michelle Pfeiffer, my foster mother went to school with her in high school, okay. So that white oleander was coming in, and Aster means star, okay, star children, and her and they run away from they're in a group home, okay, and they run away and stuff, so, okay, the twin flames, right, yeah. And, she had the woman who, in the English, asylum, that had anxiety, the foster child, she also had claustrophobia, which I had. So it was just too many signs that everything... going to and then because I watched some YouTube videos of the people going out and visiting. One guy actually, and I saw this a long time ago, and it came back again. I'm like, dude, I know I saw this before. It's a dude with like a rocker black like t-shirt and tats and stuff in New York. I mean, because it's in Long Island. And he comes up and there's a white car there. He's like, there's a dead body in there, and the guy OD'd and I'm just like, fuck, man. And then the other one, the guy's talking about, yeah, I didn't even go inside. I knew better than to even go up to the door. My spidey sense, and like fucking spidey sense, and the quads, the 4x. It just like, it was too much. Yesterday was too much. I wanted to get this out, but it was too much. I couldn't. My head was hurting it was that crying, like that kind of hard crying where it's like, I better stop. This really hurt my head. I don't want to have that sore muscle tomorrow and the... God. Trying to see if there's anything else. It's hard to read in my writing. Yeah, I talked about that. Okay, and then a couple things I just wanted to mention about just the history. So there was, and this came back too, I remember, because his name was Enoch. I'm like, Enoch Powell. Okay, they called him a maverick politician. In 1961, he pledged to tear them down, these asylums, okay, across the country. He said old mental facilities are shameful relics of the past. There they stand, isolated, majestic, imperious, towering over you with their stench. I'm not saying there were beautiful things, right? Beautiful meals shared together and all. And eventually and then once Thorazine hit the market, boom. I mean, they started, like, as I was reading some blogs, and one of the nurses, by 1966, lobotomies were a thing of the past. And then they closed down in, like, 1994, 2013. A lot of them, they just, Thorazine hit, and they didn't have a use for these asylums anymore. People could live at home. They could medicate themselves. Oh, that's another thing. This neck pain and back pain, and I was always slouching, even as a kid. And my aunt would always say, sit up straight, you're always slouching so bad. What's wrong? Sit up straight. Why do you slouch so bad? I'm like, it hurts to, like, sit up. I don't know why, because I go to have a straight, good posture, and that hurts. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm a little kid, this house, she's always like correcting me. I didn't even notice it. And then I would sit up straight, and I'm like, ow, it hurts to do that. Okay, because Thorazine, I think it was the Thorazine, or another drug that they brought in that was supposed to be better or something. Because Thorazine maybe knocked your ass out. But what it did, it was made you really rigid, and the patients that were on that stuff, eventually they developed a hunchback and really rigid. Okay, they became really rigid. So I'm sure that's stiff and sore and... okay, so... Oh, and it also says... So there they stood, isolated, majestic, imperious, unmistakable, and daunting. And his name was Enoch. Oh, God. So that's part of my mission work. And I want me and my twin to go visit that site and take a trip out there. I think it's very important and healing for my soul to do that. And just do a whole, just out in the middle of the daylight, out in the sunshine. We don't need to go through the buildings, and just go around and just bless the souls and release them. Release all the souls of the people that worked there, died there, the children, the people that were stuck there because they were lobotomized and drugged and all this stuff. So their soul is so lost and confused, and they're stuck in these places. So I want to go there and do like a liberation ceremony, me and my twin, and just healing for ourselves. And I want him to see this so he can understand, because we have dealt with anxiety, like panic attacks, severe panic. I've had severe panic attacks where I'm laid out, sweating, puking, shitting. Yeah. Yeah, the depression, the homesick, the isolation, all this, okay? It's Scorpio season. It's fucking on. Oh, God. So, now let me share. So Vulgate, okay, I shared that. St. Jerome, okay, kept coming in. And I also had, and he had an orange Dachshund, I remember. Dachshund. Like Dan, okay, anyway. And it was orange, okay, right. And we never did anything together. We never did anything, but I knew he had a crush on me, and I had a crush on him, but we never even touched, kissed, nothing. He gave me a ride home a couple times. But yeah, we definitely, yeah. He was shy, he was like indigo, okay, but his name was Jerome. Now that I'm thinking about the energy, oh my God, he's just like my twin. Oh my God. Yeah, never made a move on me. He was so great. So great. So I was thinking of him, that was coming, and then his name, and the thing, okay, and then Vulgate, okay, St. Jerome, okay, the feast date was September 30th, I think it said, okay, so he's the church doctor, St. Jerome, okay? So if you want to, and Vulgate, vulva, gate, only your twin has the key to your, so his name was Eusebius Hieronymus, and his pseudonym was Sophronia, and interesting because I saw, while they were going through these, and I kept seeing that sophomore, I saw SOPH, I think it might have been one of the French or Italian asylums they were in. They're called the proper people. Get the proper people on the job. The proper people. So that's the name of their YouTube channel, Proper People, and they just go to all these rundown, abandoned like asylums and stuff, or like there's an ammo factory, abandoned ammo factory, stuff like that. Okay, so Sophronia. So yeah, the soft. Okay. Sophomore. So yeah, so one of the pictures right here, and I saw this before, and here it comes again. It's the return. Okay, now we got the full picture. Okay, see, it says L right there in the corner. L O. How are you born? O is birth. Okay, L, and just look at that graffiti. That's beautiful shit right there. That is beautiful. Lightning from heaven. 3 thunderbolts out of the clouds. L. So these, it's all coming back. Okay, it's all coming back to me now. Gotta reveal it to heal it. Okay, I'm like, God, I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want to have rashes anymore. And then as soon as I said that, and then the last couple days, this shit's been coming up. Okay, do you really? Yeah, you got past life trauma. All these rashes, this, that. It's past life trauma. Do you want to heal it, or do you want to come back again and repeat it? I don't want to. Okay, no. That's why my son stays with me. I don't take medication. God, I learned my lesson this time. God and God only. That's my lesson. Okay? Your lesson is whatever your lesson is. So God told me Gap Carpenter, so I'm thinking, oh, that's a cool name. So, yeah, it's about the Aborigines, and it's in Kimberly, okay, which is my sister's name. I named her. And it's all the coal deposits and stuff. Okay. So, yeah, Gap Carpenter. So that came back up, and I was just talking about the Aborigines and the, oh God, one of the photographers for the King's Park Asylum. His last name was Weber. Steve Weber. 2 B's. Yeah, Weber. Okay, so just every little science synchronicity, I know this is the truth of my most recent incarnation before this lifetime. Before the one that I'm currently living now, this was the one right before it. And there's just so many parallels to what's going on right now in my life. And with my twin and my son, everything. So, okay, so that came in. Okay, hold on. I'm going to shut the door, let him screech. Hold on, let me finish up, please. Go ahead, get screechy. And that was another reason of why I was so like adamant about keeping my son quiet and would get so because, right, if they were loud or this or that, they put people in straitjackets. They put, give them lobotomies. Keep them quiet. Keep them from thrashing about, hurting themselves, self-injury, and right, even if it was a child. Okay, so we're talking about this now. Gap Carpenter. Okay. And it's talking about the axe, the oldest found out. Okay. Oh, and then one of the fucking pictures inside. I don't know if it was it Parks, Kings Park. I can't remember if it was a Kings Park Asylum, but it said, "Respect my copper," like because it's all graffitied and spray painted. Respect my copper. Fucking. And then the Aborigines, the acts of the copper people. Okay, whatever. So then Route 66 comes in, and I'm thinking, okay, all this stuff about mother. So, because it's called the Mother Road, so I was getting the mother load, the mother's ship, mother's hips, mother's lips, mother's whip. Mother's gonna give you the slip. Pass or no pass. So that was established November 11th. Okay, they put all the signage and stuff in the following year, but it was finished and completed the road itself, Route 66, also known as the Mother Road. Okay, November 11th, 1926. There's a Scorpio out there, 11/11/1962 as their birthday, which is signs I was okay. So yeah. So they're just markers and indicators to let you know that yes, you're looking in the right direction. Yes, this is what I'm trying to show you. So it's not necessarily have to do with that person or what. Okay, so but it's Scorpio seasons, and then something 11/11 this year is going to be big. I don't know, but it's going to be. Okay, so this movie right here, I believe it's the first story. I will put it in the description box of this video. No, this is this one right here. The diary okay, that's the one. So, and yes, they're chilling tales okay. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm just watching some Halloween stuff. Yeah, and it ends up being, yeah. So werewolf is coming up. Yeah, and then this. So. And it's all connected, okay? It's all connected. The reason why you have anxiety and panic attack and all this stuff is because, yeah, and then they used to just call you crazy. Because they didn't know about starseeds. There was nowhere to go. There was nothing. There was not even proper medication to help you or this, nothing. That's why there's only always been the eternal source. Okay, that's perfection. So why don't we go to the thing that's perfect? To get the perfect solution, the perfect answer, the perfect cure, the perfect everything. God. Yeah, God. Okay. Is there anything else that I think I... Okay, and then Thaddeus. Yeah, okay. Thaddeus. Oh, and that's all... Okay, so Thaddeus, when I first got that, when I was in Grass Valley, a little boy had a St. Jude's shirt on, and I only noticed because when I'm finishing getting up something, he gave my son a dime, but he didn't know my son was autistic. My son put the dime in his mouth, and oh, no, honey, don't do it. And it was a dime, 10, St. Jude. So I look it up, and so when I'm in the Bible, Thaddeus, okay, when not St. Jude, Judas Thaddeus, okay, Jesus' brother, that's when I discovered remote viewing in the Bible, because he said, oh, you came, I just came from under the tree, I was napping, blah, 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 and it was like way over the hill where you couldn't see with your naked eyes, like, oh yeah, I saw you. I think that's what Jesus said to Thaddeus, yeah, I saw you. He was like, how could you have seen me? Yeah, and it doesn't say it explicitly, because he saw him in his third eye, remote viewing. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why we're such a threat. Is because... Okay, people don't want this information out. It's stuff that's not even, like, recorded, really. Okay? There's no record of the... A big download. So I was like, why do we need... So this is why we have to incarnate and have these experiences, because they will hide the truth. But if we come down and experience it, and now it's part of our Akash, it's locked into God's library. So it's part of our memory bank. So through recall, we can recall, we remember history and the truth through recall of our memory. So everything, all the truth, everything is inside you. They can't distort the history. They can't, because we actually came here and experienced it to have that information and that code inside us to access the truth. 4411 on the, access the truth. 4411 on the time of the video. Okay, access truth. 4411. So angels, God, the divine, they're assisting us, protecting us. They're helping us to remember. It's painful. Okay, but it is for our own good. Growth. So we don't have to keep repeating this pain. And some of us are ancient, and even if you're not ancient, maybe you just suffered great trauma in the past. Okay, and we're reliving it subconsciously. So look at these beautiful cards that came out for me and my twins. Empress, Justice, Devil card, that's me, Capricorn, King of Cups, King of Wands, Ten of Cups, Three of Cups, Moon card with the King of Swords, Nine of Wands, Six of Cups. So it's fired up, coming in. Want a reunion with this twin flame. The Queen of Pentacles with Queen of Cups. Okay, and there's Four of Cups with Tower. No nerves. Get all that out of the way. Eight of Wands. Hopefully I'm doing that right now with this video. Five of Cups, right? So we can let go and just... And it's return. Okay, here he comes. Eight of Wands. Five of Cups. Two of Cups. Coming in for that return. Right? And Tower... Crown to the Eight of Wands with the Tower card. That's always fucking zap to the Crown Dome. Some downloads, some big major downloads have been coming in. Okay, Queen of Cups with Two of Cups, Four of Wands, Hermit card. There's my baby. So Capricorn, Virgo. Okay, Three of Pentacles, cooperating, coming in with love, passionate communication, money, rebirth. Okay, just beautiful. Six of Swords, mirroring, Two of Wands, twin flame. Right, the womb here manifesting together. Two is one. The Chariot. Two Pentacles, Lover's card, Temperate. It's like two, all being together as one, and then Emperor. And then I thought that would be perfect to stop right there, right? Oh, it was just too perfect. So when that card finally came out, we had Knight of Swords on the bottom. Hello, Knight of Swords, King of Pentacles. So all the kings came out. Okay, and for me it was Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. Yeah, I'm feeling my down there in the root, Capricorn, right? Whew. And feeling the emotions of that, and I'm Cancer moon. Might as well be Cancer. So that's why I'm coming in as the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, and he's coming in as every king. Every freaking king. Free king. King's Park Asylum. Okay, so honey, I hope that helps you. And I hope it helps others who you know, are dealing with these issues currently, because we had them from the past, but we didn't get any help because it wasn't available. I mean, even they didn't even know anything about psychiatry, and that's even a made-up thing, but they didn't know anything about the brain and how it functions or anything. Past life trauma, and they didn't, none of this stuff, okay? So that's why it's like coming up to be healed now. It had to be like put on hold. We had to just die with this aching in our heart, okay? Because there was no, we were seeking asylum, something other than source, God, ourself, right? The power of that. So when we have this viewpoint that we're separated, we have to seek something outside of ourselves. See how we just get all tangled up in the mess. It's just a whirlpool. You just keep going round and round and round, and you're not spiraling up and doing anything. So it was all about just keeping them quiet, right? Just keep it quiet. No, we're not being quiet anymore. It's time to get loud, motherfuckers. Okay? Love, peace, and blessings.